Hello all, welcome back. It's Dave. I'm here with a video for a recap of Saratoga for today, and actually I'm going to go over my review my picks for tomorrow's Saturday 7/13. Now, what I did was I handpicked some races for today that I liked and that I thought were handicapable, and I didn't wager at all. I just wanted to track uh, the way the track was playing and how things were going based on my factors in the model. And I was kind of happy with what I saw, especially with Saratoga being such a tough place to play, mainly early on when you got shippers coming in and horses that haven't run on that track and that surface and so forth. But let's just take a look real quick at these results. On this first slide here, I had race 1, 2, 4, 5, and I had 8. I put 8 on. I have 7 on the next slide. I had them flip flop, but that doesn't matter. But if you notice, these first 4 races here, 1, 2, 4, and 8, my top choice A's won each of those races. And again, I'm not boasting. What I'm doing is I'm looking at how the grid is faring based on the trends from the results that I've been tracking. And again, the overall column, the EL column, and this new column that I have in here, which is the overall plus the class. And I'll just get into that a little bit in a few minutes with this one. I just added another column to it so that the overall rating takes into consideration class as well. And all I'm doing is adding a point, subtracting a point, half a point, or so forth, based on a move, if there was a class move in the race. Now, you guys can't see the actual working grids here. These are just the summary grids. But if you take a look where the winners are coming from, this 3 horse was the only one that didn't show anything early, but could turn it on the turn and late. And he had the top overall plus class, I should say, and second best EL and O. I did not track the results, the top 3 finishers here. Just looking at winners for today. If you look at Saratoga 2, the 7 horse, just by looking at it, is a standout. Okay, early figures top on the turn and the final and the finish, and he's second in finish, and therefore he's tops early, late, tops overall, and he's second when you factor the class in, and he won that race. And again, I'm not tracking any ROI right now or anything. So I'm just looking at winners, whether they won the race at 4-5 or whether they won the race at 10-1. The 4th race, the 4 horse was also a top play of mine. Okay, I know this is a little blurry, it's tough to see. But when I put these onto paint to put the results in, and I go and I paste them back into the slide presentation, they don't always come out as clear. Some of them do. Some of them don't. But the 4 horse, as you can see, again, this overall plus class, he was tops. He was second in the overall. So as you can see, the class boost here flip-flopped him with the 5 horse from first to second here in these 2 categories. Again, potent categories here. These are the categories that I'm really, really relying on right now from these last 3, really. And then I'm letting the rest of the grid tell me where these horses that are showing up over here, where are they really contributing to these factors? And then if I base that and I look at how the track is running, we already know that the majority of races are won by horses that are slightly off the lead or just slightly mid-pack. Okay, so we always want to consider horses that are showing up well over here. And then, does the rest of the race allow them to still finish up high over here? Okay, and then race number 8, we had the 1 horse. He was one of my top co-A choices. He did win the race, and again, you can see that he was the top overall and second in early, late, second in overall plus class, and he showed up across the board. He was second in the finish, second in the turn and finish, behind the 6 horse. And then he showed up here in the 3 different early ratings. All right, the other 2 races that I looked at, the race number 7, I did not fare very well in that. It was a large race. The 4-horse did win the race, and you can see he finished up third in the finish, and he did show up fourth in overall plus class. But I would not say that the grid pointed, just because he's showing up a little bit here. I'm not going to say the grid pointed me to that 4. He didn't. And then in the race 9, I reluctantly put the 5 as my third choice as a C column, and the 5-horse actually won the race. But again, he didn't really show me much. The 3 and the 6 stood out there. All right, so this overall plus class, what it is, it's a new rating that all I did was I added to the grids. And if anyone who's interested, I'm not going to go into how I do it in here, but if you notice, I added a class column to the new grids. Okay, it's either subtracting points or I'm adding points, maybe a half a point, 3/4 of a point, and I'm doing that based on moves. Some of it is subjective. Like, for example, if I have a horse going from an optional claimer 35,000 to a, let's say, a $35,000 allowance, non-winners of 2. That is a class move. It's a class drop, or it's a jump, I should say. But how many points is it worth? So I'm just kind of getting an idea of how many claiming ranks are there, and then where do the allowance ranks at a particular track, where they start out at, and so forth, and using like 0.5 as one jump. And then 1 full point would be like a 2-point class jump. And the reason I'm keeping it fractional is because a lot of these are close, okay? These are separators here. And what I don't want is, I don't want a lot of horses that are finishing within, they're already finishing, a lot of them, the top 4 are finishing within a point from each other. So I just think using a half a point or 0.75 is enough to really, really, if the horse is good enough and the class is going to make a difference, it's going to be good enough to flip-flop a horse from first in the overall column to maybe second if he's moving up in class, without having to put 3s and 4s and 5s over here, because that's really, really would skew the data as far as I'm concerned. I do have the grids. I can put them in the grid download if you want to play with these. I did put, for any of you that are tuning in and do not have the pace progression model, I do have it. It's now live on Amazon. I have the book. It's in book form, soft cover book form. It's 51 pages, and I do include the class factor in there, and I also include the TR, the target rating factor from the matrix system, and how to figure that out, and where it ties into this summary grid, okay? So again, I call this my working grid over here, and this is my summary grid over here. So let's take a look at the slides for tomorrow, July 13th, for Saratoga, and see what we got. So let's go to the slideshow view. And those of you that are looking at this on your own, I'm going to put a link for it in the description of this video. And make sure you hit the slideshow button so you guys can see this clearly. I started race 2. I passed on race 1. And I'm going to do that a lot during the Saratoga meet. For the days that I look at the races, I'm going to really, really pick and choose the races. If it's a particular day where only 5 out of the 10 races meet the requirements that I'm looking for, then I'm going to only look at those 5 races. I'm not going to try to sift through a lot of lightly raced horses, 2-year-olds, and because I know especially during the week, Saratoga is going to start having those 2-year-old maiden special weights, and I'm not too keen on my ability to handicap pedigree, workouts, and everything. So I'm going to stick to what I feel my strengths are as far as the handicapping goes. But I look at race 2, and you'll see now where my choices are coming from based on what we're looking at this grid. The 2 and the 4, okay, the 2-horse right now is tops in overall plus class, second in overall, and the 4, flip-flop those 2, and that's where we get our 4 from. Okay, the 2 and the 4 are both showing good early numbers here based on the 3 different early factors we use, and then they're also showing mid to late performance too, the turn and the finish and the finish. So I put them as my top 2 with the 5 as my B, and then 3 to finish off, okay? So there's Saratoga 2, 2, 4, 5, 3. The third race, I have the 1A as a standout. Pretty much what I'm doing is if I have a top EL, top O, and top O plus C, that's going to be my solo A horse. So I have the 1A over the 3, 5, and then over the 6, okay? Again, the track today wasn't showing me much when it comes to horses that were toward the back or even the middle of the back of the middle of the pack. Okay, I really didn't look at Equibase yet to look at the result charts, which I'm going to do before I actually play into these races tomorrow. But most of your winners were come top of the stretch after the turn, where we're within 4 or 5 lengths of the lead. Most of them, from what I saw. I didn't watch every race live, but I did watch a few, and I did watch a few replays. Okay, so race 4, I have the 2 and the 3. Again, you can see why I'm putting the 2 and the 3 here. Now the 3 horse, I could put the 3 as a second choice simply because, again, I want to favor the early figures here. But at the same time, this 3 horse is showing tops early late. So he did enough over here to put him in this ranks. And his late and turn and finish were so much significantly higher than the rest of them that he may just be in a good position that he may blow down the stretch and pass these runners. So I have 2, 3 as my top plays here over the 5, 8. Race 5, I have the 1A. Again, your eyes can tell you why. Look at race 6, I have the 1. And I have the 11. Okay? Again, the 11 horse could be, very well could be a just solo A, which is really going against my rule, what I said before, that when I see this here, I go with him. But the fact that the outside post, I want to have something else that's appealing to me on my grid. And if I remember correctly, both the 1 and the 11, excuse me, both 1 and 11 are pretty high in the morning line. And that's really what we're looking for here. We're looking for value. Race number 7, I'm skipping. Race 8, I have the 2 and the 7 as my top plays. And again, I'm giving the 7 the benefit of the doubt. He is top final and top turn final, but it's good enough compared to the rest of them to put him in second in the overall and the overall plus class category. So they're going to go neck and neck for my A choices. 6, 10 for my Bs, and then the 5, through the 5 in as a C. Again, that's just, if I'm going deeper in my exotics, if I'm playing a trifecta, it might be 2, 7 over 5, 2, 5, 6, 7, 10 over 2, 5, 6, 7, 10. I want to know where those late legs are going to come from. Race 9, I have the 3 and the 8. The 3, again, should probably be just by itself up here. But the 8 horse, for some reason, I looked at this a few times, and the 8 horse just telling me to, you know what, I may want to use this horse on top as well. So the 3, 8, 1, 5, 6. Race 10, 1, 4. And again, you can see why. The 1 and the 4 are my top plays there. Followed by the 8. The 8 figures best when I combine the turn performance. And we cannot see the turn factor on here. That's on the working grid. But it's figured into this calculation right here for this factor. Over the 8 and over the 10. Or no, 1, 4. Yeah, over the 8, over the 10. And I just threw the 10 in there. It could be the 9. It could be anything. So, but I wanted a 4th choice, especially out of 10 horses. And then finally, I have the 11th and 12th. Okay, the 1 horse is a standout. If I do play an exotic horizontal late, the 1 will probably be a single for me in the 11th. And in the 12th, I have the 1 and the 9. And again, the 1 is staring at me in the face right here with these top 3. So I very well could put 1 by itself over 9 over 5, 7. But something to keep an eye on, something to watch tomorrow. I do have the link to this in the description. So if you guys want to, click the link, you'll have access to this slide presentation. You can follow along, play, do whatever you're doing. Compare if you're handicapping the card yourself. And again, as a reminder, for a fraction of the price of the PDF tutorial with the videos in it, if you do not have the pace progression, or you're interested in the other factors I've added in and how to factor them, the target rating and then the class rating, I do have the pace progression soft cover book, 51 pages, now on Amazon. Just go into Amazon and search for a pace progression model. It's the only thing that will show up. All right, thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.